Thorny, as we venture into the R&R, two truths are consistent. We love our dear Montana State, and we love great beer. And you know who else feels the same? Jeremiah Johnson Brewing. Brewed in the heart of Montana in downtown Great Falls, Jeremiah Johnson takes Montana's finest ingredients to craft some of Montana's favorite beers. And now, Jeremiah Johnson's second tap room is open in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Their Citra IPA is probably one of my favorites. But we all know, Thorny, you're not the hop lover I am. You're more of a mountain man Scotch ale.
Well, Foley, I'm certainly not a mountain man, but you are right. I do love their Mountain Man Scotch Ale. But come game day, you and I are both cracking their Golden Bobcat Pale Ale. So when you're looking for a quality craft beer brewed with Montana roots, a relaxing tap room, or just a six-pack to take to your favorite Bobcat tailgate, Jeremiah Johnson delivers. Make your next beer a Jeremiah Johnson, and as always, go Cats. Yeah, I gotta wait. I don't even know where I'm going with until I finish talking. So how are you possibly gonna know? I start a sentence, I don't know where it's gonna go.
Welcome everybody to the R&R Catcast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy it. Welcome back, Bobcat fans. It's time for another R&R Catcast. Thanks for joining us. I am Ryan Foley. Across the state from me, on the other end, is Ryan Thornburg. Thorny, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing good, man. I back from my vacation to Montana, so feels good to be back home. Felt great to be back in Montana for a week, but it's good to also be back on the podcast with you as we inch closer to actual football.
We must have passed each other on I-90 because we took a vacation out to Ocean Shores, so like the very tip of the Olympic Peninsula out there in Washington.
Yeah, the odds that we were vacationing in Ocean Shores like 3 weeks ago or whatever, 4 weeks ago, and then you go down there and I'm telling you what places to go, what places to avoid, because like, oh, we were just there. Don't go here. But yeah, pretty funny. Crossing paths all over the place, but yet we can't meet up anywhere.
No. Well, that's the way it goes, man. All right. Yeah, we're going to dust off the mics tonight. It is good to be back with you guys. And Ryan and I can say this absolutely true. We are just stoked to get this football season going. We are excited to be combing through Montana State stuff every day. The fall camp stuff has been coming out on the daily. It's just like injected into my veins right now. I cannot wait to get this thing going.
It's been so long, man. It's been so long. It's almost like the reality hasn't even hit me yet that we will be watching football
right
in exactly like 32 days, right? We're going to the Gold Rush game. Or I guess it's even sooner. Yeah, the Wyoming game's on the 4th. So yeah, less than 30 days.
You let the cat out of the bag, man. Have we talked about Gold Rush?
I'm not sure we've done it on the podcast. I'm not sure if we did on the last one, but yeah, we're going to be at the Gold Rush game versus Drake, the old Rob Ash stomping ground. So that'll be a lot of fun to be down there, get probably some media passes, hanging out on the sideline. And yeah, I'm stoked to be back in Bobcat Stadium.
Well, I would like to meet some of our fans too. You know, that'd be really cool to tailgate with some of our listeners. That'd be really fun. Yeah,
if you're listening, give us a shout out. We'll arrange to hang out at a tailgate. We're going to be tailgating. We might do a live event somewhere in Bozeman. I'm leaning towards no on that, but we might do that. But either way, we'd love to meet some people. We'd love to hang out and meet some people. Yeah, some people who listen to the show. So hit us up.
Right on. All right. For today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Stats FCS preseason poll. Yet another preseason poll. We're just going to breeze through that one because they don't really matter in the
same
long
conversation, but we should mention it. It's news. We'll go through it.
Yeah. This is going to be really a two-part episode. We're going to break down the 2021 schedule. We're going to go through each game and give a little take. Maybe Ryan and I we're actually going to pull out some bold predictions. We're going to give our predictions on just what we think the Bobcats are going to do, what our record's going to be in 2021. But the best thing we have going for you today is the Brent Vigen soundbite we collected from the media days in Spokane. So that is coming in the back half of the show.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. We were talking just before we hit record here about we've been in positions to make predictions before. We've had guests who've asked us for predictions. We're like, oh, we don't do that here. We don't do this on this podcast. And then last week, Ryan text me. He's like, you know what? The idea for the next episode, let's share the Brent Vegan audio and let's predict the entire season. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's be a little bit more bold in our predictions. And it'll be fun to, I think, revisit them after the season's over and see how wrong we were. We're going to be wrong. There's no way. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how close we were.
I think it was that cool ocean air from blowing off the Pacific over there, man. Just cleared my head. I was just, let's do this.
You didn't eat at Mike's Seafood, did you? I told you not to eat there.
No, we intentionally avoided it.
That place is terrible. Oh, man. Anyway. All right. You want to get into
first, hey, Thorny, you got to get into what we're drinking tonight, buddy.
I'm so excited to talk about Bobcat stuff that I'm skipping right over the beer part. My goodness. You go first.
Okay. A little switcheroo. We normally go with you, but tonight, Thorny, you can see it right here in the screen. We are on video right now. I got the Jeremiah Johnson Hazy IPA.
Nice.
Yes, I found it over here in Spokane, over at my local grocery store. Picked it up today. I'm stoked to have that. I know this was a new release last year for them. It's delicious. It is a little high alcohol content for me. I'm not a big guy. This is 7.3, so this is definitely on the heavy side for me. So I will only be having one tonight. But yes, tasty.
Nice. I have I'm gonna have to pull it out of the koozie. I forget. Dancing Trout by Bayern over in Missoula, which I actually don't even know what kind of beer it is. It doesn't say what kind of. It just says it's nail. Oh, there it is. Finally, I read it. 5.3% alcohol, so kind of a lighter, just a normal ale style beer. And it's pretty good. I've never had it before. I was just drawn to the can, just a Dancing Trout right there. I was like, all right, I like trout, so I'll give it a shot.
Is it? I've had a Dancing Trout before, and I believe the can had like a full-grown fisherman like slow dancing with a trout. No, not that one.
Not this one. This is just a straight fish jumping out of water. No slow dancing, no fisherman anywhere to be found on here. That does sound way more interesting than this, though.
Yeah, it was really interesting. All right, well, let's get right into it. Thorny, take us into the Stats FCS poll that came out today. Today is August 8th. What do you got?
All right, yeah, I'll take us through like the top 15 or so just to kind of cover all the way to where the Bobcats are and end on a nice even number because ending on where the Bobcats land is weird. We are 12th in the poll, but if you start at the top, we got Sam Houston State, the defending national champion, coming in at number 1 from the spring season, defending champion. Then we got James Madison, number 2, South Dakota State, number 3, North Dakota State, number 4, which may be a bit of surprise to some people. Then we got Delaware 5, Weber State 6, Southern Illinois 7, North Dakota 8, Montana Grizzlies number 9, Jacksonville State 10, Eastern Washington 11. Then we got the Bobcats at 12, rounded out by Monmouth 13, Central Arkansas 14, and then Southeastern Louisiana, who just released some guidelines that they don't want to be called SELA. So now I'm definitely going to call them SELA, number 15. So there's your top 15. The Cats come in at number 12. Any particular thoughts on that at all, my friend?
They seem to be higher on Eastern Washington than I am. I have a lot of questions when it comes to Eastern Washington. Overall, I think Eastern Washington is taking a step down, but they do still have Eric Berrier, who is the preseason MVP in the Big Sky Conference. He is the difference maker, but without him, yeah, I just, under Coach Best, the Eastern Eagles have not performed consistently at that elite level that we're used to seeing.
Well, so it does tend to follow what I've seen pretty much everywhere from the preseason conference polls to the other polls, where it's Weber State, the Grizz, and then Eastern, and then us. Seems to be kind of the trend. Now, where they land in the national landscape varies, but that is the pecking order. I do agree that I'm not sure about Eastern being ahead of us, but I don't know where to put the Bobcats right now. I haven't seen the Bobcats play under Brent Vegan. I haven't seen us play in 2 years. It's kind of crazy. So, anywhere from like 6th to 20th, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't really be upset to have the Bobcats anywhere in there. So, yeah, I'm fine with the Bobcats at 12, and we'll see. We'll see if we're a better team than Eastern. We finally get a chance to prove it this year.
Yep, we do play Eastern over here in Spokane, or Cheney, I should say. So I will be going to that game, unfortunately. I hate going to that stadium. We talked about that last week. So let's get right into the 2021 schedule, Thorny. Are you ready for this conversation, my friend?
Yes, I haven't done any prep, so mine's going to be shooting from the hip as I go, how I feel as we discuss. So you're going to start.
All right. Well, we're going to go game by game. And Thorny, I'm going to put some of the rules on this. You're going to have to choose a win or a loss. All right?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to start off September 4th at 2 p.m. in Laramie, Wyoming. I almost said Laramie, Washington. That is not a place. It is in Wyoming. We're going to play the Cowboys. Now, a little bit about the Cowboys real quick. They're in the Mountain West Conference, a conference that I predict Montana State will join probably in the next 10 years. We haven't had that conversation. That's a bold prediction.
That is
right there.
a bold
Holy
prediction.
cow.
Where did that come from?
We'll save that for a little other date. When I was going through this, I know you didn't do any prep, but I did a lot of prep. I went back and looked at the 2019 schedules, the 2020 schedules, if they played. In 2019, the Cowboys were 8-5 in their conference, and they went to the Nova Home Loans Bowl, and they won against Georgia State.
Would that have been the Josh Allen team?
No, he was in the
Is he in the NFL at that point?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain on that. Georgia State, though, was Georgia State once at FCS? I feel like they were.
They were only because they were required to be before they went to FBS. They started the program, I don't know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago or so. We're going FBS. We have to do 4 seasons of FCS, whatever, just get it out of the way. Okay. So, yeah, they're a glorified FCS team.
So 8-5 in the Mountain West, that's nothing to like, be ashamed of. They did really well. They finished 4th in the conference. In the abbreviated schedule in 2020 schedule, they did play in the fall. They were only 2 wins, 4 losses. So a little interesting little bit in 2019, Tyler Vanderwall played for, you guessed it, Coach Vigen at Wyoming. And Tyler Vanderwall is the quarterback for ISU right now. And he was the spring season newcomer of the year. A quarterback that I'm very high on. But a little connection there.
Yeah, he looked good in the spring. I watched a couple Idaho State games.
Yep. Anyways, moving this along, I think we lose at Wyoming. I think Craig Bowl is going to know Brent Vigen's schemes. I think, but I at first, Ryan, before I let you comment on this real quick, I had this down as a win, only because of the surprise factor. There's not going to be any tape on us. And so I think Montana State has a good enough team where they could easily win this game. But overall, I think we probably will lose this game.
It's a very interesting dynamic where you have a head coach who was the offensive coordinator of the team that they're playing against. I don't know who really has the advantage there, because Brent Vigen's going to know plenty about the defense they're running there. He's going to know about the ins and outs of the program and the players to keep an eye on, and maybe some schemes and some terminology or whatever, but kind of goes the other way. But at the same time, Brent Vigen is not the offensive coordinator. Now, we've talked about how big of a hand does he have in that? I don't know, but it's Taylor Housewright. I think Taylor Housewright is going to have the reins more than you might think that he has. So, but all that being said, with the cast just learning a new offense and new schemes and defensive new schemes, and with Jeff Choate out and just a whole coaching staff turnover that we had in some positions, just going to Laramie, a team that I think was, did you say they're predicted to be, were they predicted to finish in the conference this year? I want to say second, right?
Yeah, I don't know,
second or third. I think they're predicted to be fairly high. Regardless, I'll wrap this up here. I do think that is going to be a loss. I think if we would have just continued on our merry way from 2019 with Jeff Choate at the helm, I might feel different about that. But for Brent Vigen's first game against his former team, I don't see us coming out with a victory on that one.
Nope. All right, let's move on to Drake. That is September 11th, the game you and I are going to.
I'm so
6
stoked.
p.m. kickoff. Gold Rush. Oh man, Gold Rush at night is something special to be held at Bobcat Stadium. I cannot wait. Man, I'm so excited for that. A little bit about Drake real quick. Drake's in the Pioneer League. They played in 2019. They had a 6-2 record. That's pretty good. They were third in the conference, 6-2 in the conference, 6-5 overall. Excuse me. So their total record would have been 6-5. They did play in the 2020 season. The whole Pioneer League did play in the 2020 season, and they were only 2-3. I'm having this as a win.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to discuss on here. Drake is an up and down, partial scholarship, no scholarship.
I don't think they had a scholarship when Rob Asher was playing.
They weren't. They didn't when he was there. I know that some conferences have like changed. Some have like 33, like 2/3, like it's or a third of it. It's all weird. But either way, there's no reason the Bobcats should lose a game like this. I see the Cats rolling in this one.
Right on. Yeah, Gold Rush Magic. You're not going to lose that one right there. Sorry, Drake. You're just fodder for the team at that point. So
it's just too much talent left at this point. If it was, it's a different transition, and this is something we don't need to get too far into. But like when Rob Ash came in, taking over from the Kramer mess, versus Choate coming in, taking over from the Ash mess. Now we got Vigen coming over in and taking over a good spot. So even if the footing is a little odd with the new coaching staff and stuff, there's just so much talent. Some of these games we're going to go over are just going to be the Bobcats just have much more talent. So Drake is one of those teams.
Got it. All right. The next week, September 18th, we play San Diego.
That's going to be a harder game than Drake.
Yeah, I don't know if it's at home or not. I didn't write that down.
It is home. I'm looking at the schedule. That's at home.
Okay.
I don't see us ever going to a non-scholarship team on the road. That'd be pretty...
That's a good point.
We did have the home and home with Drake, I guess, that one year, but
it's a 1 p.m. kickoff. They are the Toreros. They are in the same conference as Drake, which is the Pioneer Conference. Like I said, interesting little thing about San Diego. Before they play us, they play Cal Poly and UC Davis. So they have like a little Big Sky run right before they come over to Bozeman. In 2019, they went 9-3, and they got into the playoffs, if you remember this. And they lost to Northern Iowa 3-17. And so they finished first. They're like typically what I've been seeing is the top team in the Pioneer Conference. I think this is going to be a really good game. This is going to be a good test for us. This is a current playoff team. Let's see. Did they play in 2020? Yeah, they did. They had a 4-2 record in 2020. So they're used to winning. I think this will be a good test. I think this will be a good test early for the Bobcats to see where we are. I have us winning this one too.
Yeah, it's going to be a good test. That's going to be our the biggest challenge that might mean anything in the out of conference, because like whatever happened to Wyoming is kind of throw it aside with all the weirdness that could be surrounding that game. But San Diego, a perennial power in the you say the NEC. I can't keep track of the conferences that these smaller non-scholarship schools are in, but they're always a good team. And honestly, they've waxed a few Big Sky teams in the playoffs before. They're typically undefeated. They just dominate that league, but they have a hard time going very far in the playoffs. They can usually win a game or two, but it's going to be good. It's going to be a good challenge. I think having them at home early in the season bodes well for the Bobcats. I do see the Cats winning this one, but yeah, San Diego, traditional power, and nothing to take lightly there for sure. But I do see the Bobcats just having too much size and physicality for the Toreros.
Toreros. All right. Well, that ends the out-of-conference play for us. And then September 25th. Yep, September 25th, we're going to go over to Portland State. And Portland State was ranked 10th in the Big Sky media poll early on. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. I don't even know where we play in Portland State anymore. I think it's still at a high school stadium. I'm not sure.
It's good. It probably is.
Portland State in the last, they've just been kind of bad overall. They've been 3-5 in conference. In 2019, they played one game against the Grizzlies and got their butts whooped. I know Like specifically, Coulter Nuanez is high on Portland State, specifically probably because of their QB, Davis Alexander. He's kind of a stud. I just don't see it. I think this is a win for the Bobcats.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to hold me over the fire on this one, I would say it's a win. But this is the makings of a trap game. This will be the first game the Cats have played with like zero atmosphere. So we're going to Wyoming. That's going to be, a pretty big game there. They got the 2 home games, including Gold Rush. And then we're going to Portland State at a high school stadium with like 2,500 fans, which will be like 1,500 of them will probably be Bobcat fans. That's a whole different experience. So those games can be trap games, especially for people that haven't, players that haven't made the trek out there. I mean, this is what Jeff Choate would call a bring your own energy game for sure. I don't know how the new staff is going to handle that. It could be the classic game where we go on the road against a team that always has talent. Portland State always has talent. They never or they're rarely able to put it together. I do see us winning this one, but that could be a hard game.
So you're going to go down with the win on that one?
And chalk it up with the win.
All right. Next game, October 2nd, we're going to play Northern Colorado at home, 1 p.m. kickoff. Northern Colorado is ranked number 12 in the media poll. Only interesting thing about Northern Colorado is they got Ed McCaffrey's son playing quarterback. He's a transfer from Michigan. Northern Colorado easily has the hardest schedule in the Big Sky. They play all the who's. They're going to not win in Bozeman. That is if we lose to Northern Colorado on October 2nd, is bad news for the Bears. I mean, it's bad news for the Cats.
It's bad news Bears from the Bears.
Right. There you go.
And how are you going to say the only interesting thing is that Ed McCafferty's son's the quarterback? You glossed over the fact that Ed McCafferty is the coach. I know it's kind of old news at this point, but he hasn't played he hasn't coached a single snap for the Bears. And anyway,
there's no T in McCaffrey. It's just
whatever.
McCaffrey.
I don't care.
McCaffrey.
I'm not a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
Or a Panthers fan. Let's see. All right. Well, this one I think you have to chalk up for a win. Northern Colorado is rarely good. Yeah, they're just a bad program, and in Bozeman, that's easy. Greeley, we've had some struggles down there at home, no problem.
Yeah, Portland State's a trap game. Northern Colorado's a get right game.
Yeah. If anything happens at Portland State, it's going to be taken out on Northern Colorado.
So the next week, October 9th, we play Cal Poly at home again. And Cal Poly, if there's a team that was worse than Northern Colorado, it is Cal Poly. And so the Bobcats have 2 weeks to just like get their flex on right away. It's a 2 p.m. kickoff, which I think is kind of interesting. So the lights are going to be on for that one. You're going to get some darkness creeping in on the stadium right there. But Cal Poly, I mean, gosh, they look terrible in the spring. Bo Baldwin has a lot of work to do. He doesn't have the Eastern Washington athletes that he can pull from Cal Poly. That's a different conversation, but yeah, Cal Poly, that's a win. That's easy.
They were so bad in the spring that they like just quit halfway through the season, didn't they? They're like, we're done. Let's just regroup. Let's think about what we're doing here. Like they cancel like the last several games. They just straight up like quit, right?
Yeah.
And so I think their top 3 quarterbacks or top 2 quarterbacks have transferred out since then. Like Jalen Hammer's gone, who was the stud triple option quarterback, but trying to revamp that whole mess, and it went very poorly. I actually thought Bo Baldwin might be able to turn that team into a decent team right off the bat. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to take some time. This one's going to be an easy victory.
So we're halfway through the season, and both you and I have 1 loss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. The Cats right now are top 4 team in the nation right now. If this plays out the way we're looking,
we're probably like 7 or 8.
Well, 5-1, man, that's pretty good. So 5-1, that's looking pretty good. Specifically, if we have to get to 7 wins to get into the playoffs, that's not bad.
Yeah, we're
right?
looking good for the playoffs, but like everyone else who's in the top 10, if they're taking care of business too, then we're not going up that much. But yeah, we're looking good at this point. This is where I think you and I are going to start to either deviate or the discussion becomes much more challenging because it flips a switch real quick here from cakewalk to just a gauntlet.
So next game will be now October 15th, which is a Friday. This is one that I'm, just already jacked for. We're playing Underneath the Lights in Ogden on ESPNU. Can't wait for that 8 p.m. kickoff. Holy cow. Weber State. Weber State's ranked number 1 in the media poll. I can't remember the last time we beat Weber. I remember talking about it in the podcast years ago, and so I would have to go back and look at those stats. Weber State, man, they just seem beatable, but they always beat you, right? They're like,
exactly.
You're like, holy cow, like the offense, come on. But they get you. They just grind you out. They do what Choate always loved to do. Like he said, it would just drag you into the fourth quarter and then drown you, right? Or drag you into deep water
even
and drown.
More ugly.
Yeah. Golly.
They win games like 14-11. It's like it's like horrible, but it always happens. And you think like they can't keep winning like that, but then they do.
Yeah, and it seems like we've been playing in Ogden the last 3 times we've played them, which I'm pretty sure is true. So they haven't been to Bozeman in a long time. I have us losing this one. This is a L on my prediction.
I would have really liked to have seen like when Choate had it rolling versus like Choate versus Jay Hill when they both got it rolling because they're so similar in philosophies. I would have really liked to see that matchup. I don't know. This is such a hard discussion for us because we just don't know what the Bobcats look like yet. But this is where maybe the element of surprise could help us. Obviously, there's going to be some game tape on us at this point. But if you look at the games coming up to this, how much the Bobcats really have to put on film, they can certainly save some things until you get to Weber State. So there could be some surprises left by the time we get to Weber State. But I think I might have to agree with you on this one. If this was a home game, I could see the Bobcats' favor. But an away game, a night game in Ogden, that's gonna be tough. I'm gonna chalk it up with the loss.
What a big win if we do, right?
Yeah,
that's like some national like legitness right there if we do.
And Weber State did look beatable in the spring. I actually thought that they looked worse than they had previously. They were able to squeak into the playoffs, and I think they lost in the first round, so they didn't look all that great. I think they
had a crazy easy schedule too, right?
Yeah, and
they also
struggle with
this,
some teams.
Yeah, right now I did my little schedule strength analysis. They have the second easiest schedule in the Big Sky preseason rankings. So Weber State getting an easy pass again on their schedule. Montana State coming in. That's going to be. I'm looking at Montana. I'm looking at Weber State's schedule. That's got to be the biggest game they have on their whole list of games. So they're gonna be jacked for that game. So it's gonna be a tough one for sure.
I do love it's a ESPNU game on a Friday night. That's pretty awesome, and what a big opportunity for the Cats.
All right,
Bobcats.
Moving on.
Wildcats.
All right, so we're both predicting an L against Weber.
Wow, this is an exciting podcast. We just agree all the time.
I know, right? There's no deviation there.
This happens a lot. We need to bring someone in who just spits fire and is the complete opposite of us.
All right,
Too
next
logical.
one is Idaho State. Idaho State at home. It's 1 p.m. kickoff. I'm high on the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think Rob Fennessy has it going on. I think Tyler Vanderwall is a stud at quarterback. This is a tough game. Idaho State's ranked 9th right now. I think
You mean
they're
preseason
more like
bowls?
Yeah, preseason bowls.
Conference.
Yeah, I think they're more like 5, 6 in my book, maybe 7. I got this winning this one, but I think this is going to be a battle, absolute battle.
At this point in the season, you're starting to see the separation, as you typically do in the Big Sky Conference, where there's 3 to 5 teams at most that are legit teams, and then the rest, anybody that you thought was going to be good at this point, are stinking up the joint. I think Idaho State isn't going to be stinking up the joint. I think they're going to be, at this point, they're probably going to be fighting for like their playoff lives. They're probably going to be sitting at like right around 500, maybe a little bit above 500. But I actually think whatever reason that and this is so far in the future, this is so stupid, that this is like a buzzsaw game for Idaho State. They come in there and whether we beat Weber or lose to Weber, they're going to come into a hyped up or an angry Bobcat team and just get destroyed in Bozeman. So easy victory for the Bobcats in this one. As high as I am on Idaho State, because I agree with you, something about this just says, no, not for you, not today, Bengals.
Oh,
that's what
man.
happens
All
when you
right.
just do this on the fly like I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So then we have an off week, which will be good. It's a good time for off week.
Great
But
time.
November 6th, they come over to Cheney, Washington. 2 p.m. kickoff. We play Eastern here in Eastern Washington. Man, we haven't beat Eastern in a men's competition, basketball, football. It feels like ever. I mean, that's like maybe a little bit of hyperbole, but Eastern just owns us for some reason. I got us losing against Eastern.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where Jeff Choate's squad never got to play some of these teams, Weber State or Eastern Washington, when he had a rolling. So that's why these streaks kind of exist, because actually the Cats had a relatively easy schedule in 2019. But I don't, as much as fun as it is to sit there and say that this is the end for Eastern, like people just wish it, like Aaron Best is going to drive that program into the ground, or, oh, they weren't that good in the spring. I think Eastern's a good team. I think they're still a top 4, top 5 team in the conference, and it's certainly top 15 or 20 in the nation. This is the year the monkey's off the back. We go over to Cheney. You're there. You're going to witness it. You're going to see it in person. We're going to beat them.
Nice. I love that. What's going to get it? That would put us in playoff contention right there. That's 7 wins if we are the Houdinis we think we are.
If we can just continue any of that physicality that we had on the previous staff, that's just not what Eastern does well. I think we just match up well with them. If we're anything like we were, there's going to be obviously differences, but I just think the Cats are too physical for Eastern, even in Cheney.
Man, I would love it. I would love just to smash Eastern. Just smash them. But that's such a hard place to play. It's such a bring your own energy kind of place. I mean, I'm looking at that date. What's November 6th? It could be anything at that point. It could be sunny and windy or cold and windy, or it's just a weird place to play, man. So,
I've been there. I've been there a few games. It gets so cold so fast.
Yeah. So, all right. So then that leaves us with 2 games. Idaho, the Vandals, on November 13th. We play them at home at 1 p.m. I think we win that game. Idaho's Idaho. I mean, if you know anything about the Big Conference or the Big Sky Conference, that just going to ring true to you. They are the most talked about team that does not a lot.
Anything? Yeah.
Yeah. I just think, I mean, we could do a whole podcast on Idaho, right? We could bring in our friends from Tugs.
It's such an interesting case study.
It is. And I want Idaho to be good. I root for Idaho. They're just, I don't know. They just can't get past themselves. They just don't feel like they belong in the Big Sky Conference. Although they are a flagship member of the Big Sky Conference, once they left and came back, their agency within the conference just doesn't feel authentic. It feels like they always are like, yeah, well, but, we're just settling to be here. But, we really don't want to be here. So, I don't know. I mean, all this plays into how I predicted our score or our prediction on this one. I think we're going to beat Idaho. I just don't know who they're going to bring to outclass us. I think we're tougher than they are. I think we're going to be motivated that the Grizzlies are the next week thereafter. I think we're going to win.
Idaho, I think, is a great game to have before Brawl of the Wild, because they're going to be physical. They're going to give you some of the same kind of looks in a way that the Grizz do in traditional Grizz way. So it's a great game to have before that. I agree with you. It'd be so good for the conference if Idaho was good, but they just can't seem to fully accept the fact that they're playing in the FCS. I don't know what it is. They get up for the big game. So this is a game that Idaho is going to play well in. Is it enough? I don't know. It's in Bozeman, so we're talking about teams that can't get scheduling breaks. Now it's going to be 2 times in a row that Idaho's come here. We have yet to play there since they joined the conference. We played their last year in FBS. Jeff Choate's first year was the last time we played in Idaho, and it's been 2 straight years in Bozeman, or 2 straight games in Bozeman. I like this game at home. I like this game in November from a dome team in Bozeman. I think this is a game that we can win, and it's going to set us up well going into the Brawl.
Not only that, the thing that I just thought about, Ryan, is I think Idaho will have mentally given up at this point.
Yeah, you're right. If they're sitting at this point, an 11-game season at like 5-4 or 4-5, yeah, like what effort are you going to get?
Exactly
from Paul Petrino.
Yeah,
Paul Petrino.
You owe me one.
Jinx.
All right, Thorny. This is that leads us to the Brawl of the Wild, November 20th in Missoula, high noon. Brent Musburger. It's going to be awesome. So I have us winning against the Grizzlies because that's what we do. We beat the Grizz. I just think our team knows how to beat the Grizz. I don't think the Grizzlies know how to beat us yet. I think they want to. Yeah, just when you put it down to the brass, I just think we're tougher than they are, and we just get it done. You came over to my house in 2019. We watched that game, and we kicked the crap out of them. Just kicked the crap out of them. They had no answers for us. Not a lot has changed since 2019. We have pretty much the same players. Even, there's a couple of them that left, but no, we're going to win.
See, I think the player thing is we got Bobcat slaying legends like Derek Marks and Braden Conkle are gone. So there is some holes. Some of those guys that set the foundation for never losing to the Grizz. But you're right. At this point, it is kind of a culture thing. Like everyone on the roster, no one on the roster, better way to phrase this, has lost to the Grizz. So that is definitely in our favor, and it's definitely we've been beating them with just being more physical than them and just wanting the game more and caring about the game more. As funny as it is, Bobby Hauck mocks us for like only caring about the game. Well, we still went further in the playoffs, so it worked out in every single way that you could possibly want it to work out. My head right now is telling me that this game is going to be a loss because I do think Bobby Hauck has it going. I think the Grizz are going to be better overall than they were last year. In some areas, that could be problematic for the Bobcats, like bad matchups. I think the Grizz take a step back in a few other areas. I really liked Dalton Sneed. He didn't play very well in the games against the Cats. But my head's saying a loss, but you know what? This is a Bobcat podcast. I don't think I could ever literally pick against the Cats in this game. So Cats win this game.
Oh my gosh. I literally have erased your prediction twice now. It's a win, back to a win.
You're like, what is he talking about? Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Yeah, so I got to wait. I don't even know where I'm going with until I finish talking. So how are you possibly going to know? I start a sentence. I don't know where it's going to go.
So Ryan, you have us at 9-2. I have us at 8-3. By all means, that's putting us in the driver's seat. They'll have a home playoff game, and then who knows thereafter, right?
Now that you're saying it like 9-2, that just sounds so outlandish. I do think we lose to the Grizz, but I'm still going to pick my W.
Yep, you
so
can't
9-2, 9-2,
9-2.
Yeah, I'll never pick it against it. So basically, we just disagree on Eastern Washington.
Yeah,
and that is very much a toss-up game.
That could be a coin flip.
All right, 9-2. That gets us probably a seed in the playoffs. Oh yeah, I like where this is going.
All right, well, there is our 2021 prediction. Foley has us at 8-3. Thorny has us at 9-2. I love it, Thorny.
Zealous,
those last three. So interesting thing before we kind of wrap up this conversation. We're at Weber, at Eastern, at Montana.
It's a tough road schedule.
I mean, come on.
It's got to be the toughest road slate. I know we don't have the toughest overall schedule, but all the teams that are tough on our schedule are on the road. That's going to be tough, including Wyoming.
Yeah. So, Montana State again gets some sort of crazy, weird, tough schedule. I mean, overall, like I scored it out. We are tied to of the 8th easiest schedule, tied with oh my gosh, let me take a look real quick.
It just doesn't feel that way, but you're right. Like the other teams, the first half of the conference are all just bad teams. And I know you're just doing conference stuff there, but like Portland State, Northern Colorado, Cal Poly, those are pretty easy teams. But then you get down to where we think teams are going to project. You got Weber State, Idaho State, Eastern Washington, Idaho, Montana. Those are all solid programs. So 8th just seems not right to me. But
so UC Davis and Montana State, in my calculations, share like strength of schedule, like the 8th easiest pathway through the conference schedule. But yeah, Montana State hits all the big ones right there. So Weber State, Eastern, and Montana all on the road. Doesn't seem fair, but it is what it is. Montana State's pretty much used to it right now because, I mean, Jeff Choate era, I think maybe 1 year in there we had more of an easy schedule, but Jeff Choate liked to schedule them hard. Same thing.
Yeah, you can't control the conference schedule, but you can control the out-of-conference schedule, and Choate did like to challenge that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that was quite the conversation on the 2021 schedule. It went a little longer than I thought we would. You know, Thorny, I think for this episode, I think we cap it off right there because I want to spend some time talking about Brent Vigen, the culture, all that good stuff. But I think that's a full other episode coming up that we can, really sink our teeth into.
Yeah, I think we bit off more than we could chew tonight. Like, let's do the Brent Vigen thing. Let's talk about the culture after the Brent Vigen clip while also talking about the schedule. Nah, just didn't work out that way. We're already 40 minutes into this, so I think that's a good call. It was a fun conversation talking about the schedule. Not sure how good a content it ended up being, but it was fun talking anyway.
I like to poke fun at our Big Sky Podcast brethren. You know, I know the Eastern guys and the Tubs of the Club guys, when they listen to this, and maybe even the Gris Fan Pod, when they listen to this, they're going to be shaking their head. But
it's a good test to see if anyone listens, because if they do, they're gonna be atting us for sure. But I'm not sure they're gonna listen, so I think we're probably pretty safe, to be honest. So hey,
call out to the fans if you have any predictions or if you think we're wrong. Give us a shout out.
Yeah, let us know. Like that's the fun part, interacting. So let us know where we're right and where we're wrong. Yeah, on Twitter.
All right, Thorny, take us out there, buddy. Do your thing.
Twitter, you can find us there on RRCatCast. That is our Twitter handle. You can find us on rrcatcast.com. We would like to once again thanks Jeremiah Johnson for being our sponsor for another season. That's very awesome of them, and I'm excited to partner with them for another year. And let's get out of here with a Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.